Well, good morning, and hope you're well. Every week I hope you're well. I really mean that. And we're just talking now, moving into music and faith. I think that's a beautiful connection between music and faith, and we talked about the connection in biblical. I think everybody knows that music is a big part of the Bible. The Psalms, the last Psalms practically order us to celebrate and to shout and sing hallelujah and to praise God. It's going to be pretty hard-pressed to find somebody who would deny the value of music. What I'd like to talk about, I guess, for a couple of weeks is, we talked last week about how God will give you something, and that thing will engross you. If you accept it as this is from God and you set your mind to learning it, it'll engross you, and it's an antidote to the world. And not only is it an antidote for you, but the people who are around you, it's just like you're blessed by people who do it's not like the simplest thing, or whatever. They don't even realize it. You're so grateful for what they did. And you thank them, and they're like, oh, I don't even know what you're talking about. But you know that they're blessing people. And what's so beautiful is that they're not even aware of it. It's that mindset that I was thinking about this week, especially with performance things. Sports, of course, is the big one, right? We love a great sportsman. And we talk a little bit about, they were good losers, but let's get on now to the victorious team and all the things they did right. And that's good, right? Because, you want to be good at what you do. But in a way, music is the same way. Every field has this, who are the best of the best, and be like them. And to me, you've lost then the mindset where you should be like you should just be you because God chose you to do the thing that you're doing in the field. He didn't choose you to replace someone else. And so I was just thinking about that. What is this? He doesn't like haughty people, right? As in Proverbs, right? The haughty he knows from afar, but the humble he knows intimately. And it's beautiful. And that's the thing when he gives you something to get you through life, to be his servant. He's intimate with you as long as you're humble. And working closely with God makes you humble. So if you find that you're not humble, you might want to just think about that whatever it is your experience you're doing is from God, or it wouldn't exist. Nothing can exist that isn't from God. The desire to be perfect is in all of us. And I read once, and it was a great comfort to me, is because God is in all of us. Therefore, perfection is actually in us. But we are never going to be perfect. And what a relief that is, because once you become perfect, you've become God. And that's very scary. I don't want to be God. I am content to be a servant. And that's the mindset I want to have, in my case, in my music. I want to just love this thing that God gave me. And it does it. To be honest, there are times in my life where I just want to practice. And it's not because I want to dazzle anyone. I have to admit, in the beginning, I didn't understand the depth of the gift of music I had from God. When I was a kid, I played accordion, and I grew up in a German family, so okay, you fit right in. And I found that if I played, people liked it. And that was really, I like that. It was like, oh, look, here, I do this, and they're happy, and they like me, and they think I'm great. And I thought, this is good. But the more I went on, and the more deeper you get into your gift, the more you realize there's more that you don't know than there is that you do know. And I think that's always going to be the case. We can't fathom the depths of God. We just can't. So when he gives you something, he gives you just enough of it to keep you sane. And so there's just no such thing as running out of growth. You can just constantly grow in the thing, and you become just quieter and quieter. And so I used to think, why do I love why do I love classical music? I used to listen to it when I was, a kid. To be honest, didn't know why. I didn't have any training. Nobody in my family was really musical. I guess my grandfather used to play, but I didn't know him all that well. And so we didn't listen to classical music. My mom, I can remember, my mom would have the radio on so low. All you knew is that it could possibly be on. And I think, Mom, why don't you turn it up so you can hear the song? She goes, no, that's just the way I like it. And I couldn't understand that. It was so music to me, I was the odd one out in my family because I loved music, and I liked to play with exuberance because it was a nice antidote. Even at that point in my life, music was already becoming an antidote for me. There's a place where I could just express joy. But God is the most wonderful teacher. And I talked last week about how fun is what hooks you, but then desire is what really keeps you. And that's so much better than fun. Is such a surface thing, but satisfaction and deep learning as you find God is the best thing. And that's what music has become to me. Although I've always had a love for classical music, and I to be honest, I can't really understand it. And when I play it, I love to play it, and I struggle immensely with it. I watch other people this is their thing, this is from God, from them, and they're so good, and it's such an inspiration to watch it, the ease of the most difficult things, and they can play, and I would struggle and trip and land on a note too hard and all these things, and they would just glide over it, and then you meet someone who has that skill, and they are the nicest person you've ever want to meet, and it's just the most beautiful thing is someone who has really attained skill and has remained humble and they're just pleased that you're enjoying something that they're enjoying. It's not so much that, hey, look what I can do. It's like, I love this. Isn't it beautiful? And it's not them, it's God through them. We sponsor here at Calvary the Orlando Chamber Society, and they come and they bring music to kids. They got anywhere in the school system, but specifically they outreach the children's home, my favorite, the reservations. The places where it's really hard. And they go and they find the musicians from around the world, literally right from around the world, who were going to come and they're going to sit with this child and just play. And I would say, what could be more beautiful? And none of them yet have I ever met one is arrogant. When you meet them, they're not there to share or teach. They're there to impress you. They want you to be impressed with them. And they're good, but there's something in the soul of the music that's lacking. And so the thing is to stay connected to God, you can get so good. And then listen to yourself when you're thinking, like when I play now, only recently am I understanding in classical music all the complicated things that are going on. And I'm so grateful that I'm starting to realize it. And so it continues to bless me. And now I understand, to be honest, why I've always struggled with it, is because if you don't have something that you struggle with, you can't learn. And so there should be something in your life, some lifelong struggle that you can't master, but you want to. And that's God in there. And what I've found is that in struggling to learn all the little things in music, I can teach. I can teach kids, because sometimes when you're so good at something and you're young, you don't remember how you learned it. And you might think that everybody can do it because you don't remember learning it. And then as a teacher, if you don't remember that, you're likely to get impatient with your student. So to me, the most wonderful thing is to struggle to learn how to learn it. And then when you can take that to a child And instead of, oh, come on, you didn't practice enough, you didn't do that, right? What is God says to always speak kindly and always encouragingly. And only if you've come through something yourself can you do that. Otherwise, you're just pedantic. You're just go home and learn it and come back, So I'm grateful for music because it connected me to God on a super deep personal. I think faith is an intensely personal, one-on-one connection. And you would want nothing else. It talks about in the Bible, you find the pearl of great wealth. You sell everything for it. You don't want anything. If you can't have God, you don't want anything. And I used to read that as a kid, and now I said, what is so true? There's nothing more important than to wake up in the morning and you say, hi, God. And you know he's right there. And then he's got work for you, and he's going to give you things that reward you and make you useful to people. And I think then that's anything he calls anyone to do, those elements are going to be present. It's not just music, it's not just sports. It's, some people are called to rise to the top of their profession and still be a servant of God. And I think that's the thing to teach kids. Know how to teach. Be gentle. Just take it out of the Bible. Be kind. And always teach them how wonderful it is that God is taking you. He must care so much for you. He's given you this thing. And then your value, right? What is, to me, in the Bible when I read, commit your work to the Lord. Work for God. And there's things in there. He doesn't want people that are lazy and all that. He says, work hard. Diligence is the greatest possession of a man. I think that's a Psalm or a Proverb too. Be good. Apply yourself. Work at it. And you will be satisfied. And you'll have that special gift of appreciation. And I think that is what wins souls. I don't want to do something that turns someone away from God. I don't. I want to do things that at least don't obstruct people from coming to God. There's nothing more important. Once you discover that pearl, you want other people to have it. And you can't yell it at them or force it at them. You can only just somehow model how God's doing it for you. And so it's beautiful. Anyway, so that's what I was thinking about with music. And last week I had mentioned that I received this terrific card from one of the ladies in our congregation, and it was a song she heard, and I said she asked if I would sing it, and then they're doing it up at Chapel in the Hills. I guess they have a Vesper service, and we do a Vesper service, and it's called Shelter Me. And this man Michael Jonkis, he wrote it, and it says here it's a prayer song in the time of the COVID-19 pandemic. And not only that, but it's a choral arrangement, and it includes oboe and flute. So I couldn't be happier because we're going to do this when we get our groups back together, and it'll be a perfect piece. And once again, it only illustrates how God is preparing each one of us for something or many things. And if you don't know it, you're the more beautiful for it. But work hard at what he's drawn you to, and you'll just be satisfied. And you'll always, of course, he'll provide for all your needs. It's not like you have to worry about losing your job or I'm not good enough or any of these things. You're perfect, perfect for God. Depends on what's in your heart. So I will sing it, but I look forward to the day when we can do this as full as it is. And it's just a song about before the pandemic, I walked with God. And I understood how the world worked. And now I don't understand how the world works, and I feel lost. And then at the end he says, and when it's all over, I will see how you guided me through. And it's just too perfect. Music is just one of the great gifts of God. So here it is, Shelter Me. Shepherd and sheep, my God and I, to fresh green field you led my steps in days gone by. You gave me rest by quiet spring, and filled my soul with peace your loving presence brings. Oh, shelter me, oh, shelter me. The way ahead is dark and difficult to see. Oh, shelter me, oh, shelter me. All will be well if only you will shelter me. Yet now I tread a different way. Death dogs my path with stealthy steps from day to day. I cannot find your peaceful place, but dwell in dreary darkness, longing for your face. Oh, shelter me, oh, shelter me. The way is dark and difficult to see. Oh, shelter me, oh, shelter me. All will be well if only you will shelter me. When I look back in days to come, I'll realize your faithfulness has led me home. Within your house I'll find peace, trusting that in your mercy you have sheltered me. It's just a perfect prayer set to music. So thank you for listening, and I hope you have a terrific week.